Ta-da! Oh, I'm orange. I'm orange. Yes, guys, I've been on the fake tan. Let me see. That's a bit more normal. Guys, everybody, you are welcome. It is Friday Night Live at Wally's house, and as you can tell, I am as unprepared as always. I really don't know how I just end up like not being ready for this. I do it every bloody Friday. I turn up, look, all my camping gear strewn in the corner, along with the bags that I use when I'm posting out stuff, guys. Just stuff is everywhere. It is the summer. It is the summer. Chippy, how's it going, buddy? What's the crack? It is the summer, and well, is it the summer? I know, Tom. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Is it the summer? Yes, it's the summer, and it is just flying already. It is, for me. It is. I am busy working, which means hot. I think we're probably about 17 degrees here at the minute. So it's not hot yet. It's not that hot. But if we get about 5 degrees over that, sorry, stay still, camera. If we get about 5 degrees over that, that's pretty much our summer average temperature. It is very dry at the minute. So 32 degrees. Jesus, that is hot. That is very hot. So what are we on? May 27th of May. Yeah, guys, 17 is hot for us at this time of year. So it is. But you know, here's the thing. So I've been down in Red Branch. I've been red branching for the last 4 days, and tomorrow on the next day as well. And basically, we've had a northerly wind here. So even though it's sunny, it's cold. So kids are down in Red Branch and they're cold because they look out the window, they see the sunshine, and they go, "Yay!" You know, t-shirt. You know, and they're not prepared for 4 hours in the woods. But there will be the next time. Gotta love that experiential learning. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Look, I was wearing a wool jacket today. Do you know what I mean? But just with a t-shirt underneath it. But still, at times I felt like I needed it. But this time of year, it's all about grass. All about grass. You know, so I spend a lot of time cutting grass at this time of year, trimming and lawn mowing and trimming and lawn mowing and trimming and lawn mowing. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Exactly. Hopefully it changes. Let me see the weather. I'm back in the woods again. My God, this is a very temperamental and bouncy camera setup. I wonder, could I attach the camera to the wall? That might be better. Saturday. 17 degrees, going to be 18 tomorrow. Wednesday's going to be nice, 19 degrees. 20 on Thursday. Oh, it's going to be a cracking week next week. Sorry, I haven't looked at the weather in ages. I really need to do something with that camera. I wonder, could I stick it on the wall behind it? Behind it. Could I stick it there? Is that better? Is that better? Do I have any sticky things that I could use to stick that to the wall? Probably not. Yeah, blue tack. If you can't stick it with blue tack, guys, it. Oh no. If you can't stick it with blue tack, guys, it pretty much can't be stuck. I wonder, do I have any sticky pads or anything? I know I have some duct tape somewhere. You just duct tape the camera to the wall. That would be the woolly way to fix it. Just duck it. If you can't duck it, that's what we would say. So if you can't fix it with duct tape, pretty much can't be fixed. So that's what I might do. I'm a little bit late to the party to start doing that crack now, but yeah, that's what I can do. So what has everybody been up to this week? It's this time of year, the whole Wally's World side of things slows down, and the Red Branch side of things really picks up. So May, June, July, August is going to be gung-ho Red Branch, absolutely gung-ho. And then as soon as we hit September, you know, once once you get that sniff, you know, once you start thinking, oh, it's going to be Halloween soon, that's when firewood kicks into gear, you know. Yeah, that's it, Tom. That's all that seems to be going on. Can you trim hedges this time of year? Yes. Let me do something there. Now that I see this in front of me. Yes. Sorry. Oh, I get you. Yes. Yeah, there is a law about sight lines and stuff like that, isn't there? I don't see. Well, do you know what? I was driving around the road the other day and I saw a whole load of hedges that had been flailed. So obviously people don't really stick to that. Do you know what I mean? But it is nice. It's nice to have the nice weather, guys. It's nice to have sunshine. It's nice to be out working and not be just pissing rain and you know, just freezing cold. Uh, in September, yeah. Yeah, the flailing does some damage, boy, doesn't it? Does some damage to hedges. It really does. It promotes a really unnatural growth. Well, Andrew, how's it going? I wish there was a more. I wish there was a more environmentally friendly way to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know there is a more environmentally friendly way to do it, but I wish there was a more efficient environmentally friendly way to do it. Like the flail mower is super efficient. You just do it, you just drive it, it's done. You know, it's Thomas, how's it going? It's quite quick, but man, is it destructive. Jesus Christ, it's destructive. So I would like to, I wonder. I can see guys cutting them with big hedge cutters, you know. Going to the pits tomorrow. What's the pits? What's the pits, Chippy? Yes, but it promotes dense branching, but not at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? You always end up, if you see a hedge that has been cut for a long time with a flail mower, it's always really leggy, and then there's like a big bushy hedge across the top. But if you were hedge laying it, you know, so if you were cutting your stem and bending it over and then letting it grow up from there, you end up with a big bushy. Well, I suppose it depends. It depends on how the hedge has been planted in the first place. Big gravel pit. Is this for motorbikes? What? What are you talking about, Chippy? 100 and change feet deep in the deepest sections. Is this for fishing? Or is this for like driving around them on motorbikes? Did you see something just float across the screen? Probably. So it's been weird down there as well. Because you're doing. Yes, Aaron. This is the last camp until September. I can do anything out where? Outside, yes. Oh, right, lovely. I get you. I understand. In the gravel pit. Sounds class. I need some firewood. I am still itching for firewood. I'm still thinking to myself, I need a big score. Do you know what I mean? I need a big score. I need to be walking in a field somewhere and find a load of trees down and just be able to cut them all up for somebody. This is the situation I'm at the minute. I'm sort of thinking to myself, I really need to get some firewood. Where am I going to get it? This is what I don't know. Sometimes I am lucky, sometimes I am not. Generally, it comes in fits and starts, guys. Generally, I'll get a couple. I will find something that will do me a couple of years, and then I will not find anything. So maybe I need to go a little bit further afield. Nice one, Tom. Nice one. 10 barrel loads is like 3 months. 3 months for me. A barrel load ish about a week. So, you know, if you think of it like that, that's the way I sort of measured it out. Now I still have a load of firewood left over that won't get burnt until September. You know, so there's a big stack of firewood at the back there. I really need to go through my my log store, but I sort of need to come up with a different system. The log store itself is fine, but it's flawed. I was actually going to do a video about it. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that or not. Mistakes I made when making my log store. What do you think? Firewood is like gold dust around here, but it really is. There's so few trees fall down, and it's like it just seems to be that every tree there's 10 people want it. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just a pain in the arse. It's a pain in the arse. You sort of need a connection. You sort of need somebody who is willing to let you go in all the time and do all this work. So this is the problem. I don't mind doing the work. It's just finding the wood. Do you know what I mean? So yes, mistakes I made making my log store. First of all, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Yomps, how's it going, buddy? I didn't have a clue, but I never made a video about it. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. You know, putting galvanize on and doing all that stuff. I had never really built anything before at that stage. Cool. Where did you send them? On what? Oh, I know where you sent them. Give me a second. Wow. Ha! That is massive. That is unbelievable. Yes, you have everything right there. Everything. Is that you fishing in the third picture? That water looks crazy. I wonder, can I share them? No, you can't. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is so cool looking. Sorry, guys. You cannot see them. And then there's a video. Right. Now, I need to get rid of this. That just looks unreal. See, we don't have wild places like that here. We don't have anything like that. We don't anything that has any decent amount of woodland in it is owned by somebody, and it's not generally owned by a private individual. It's owned by some sort of trust. So these trusts will be like the Woodland Trust or the forestry or something, the forestry service or something like that. And these people do not allow you to cut wood. Nice. Full of wildlife as well, I'm sure. So these people do not let you go in and do anything, right? If a tree falls down, you're not allowed to touch it, you know, because I don't know why, actually, to tell you the truth. They just make everything is down and that's it, and it stays there, you know. So the National Trust own places, the forestry own thousands and thousands of hectares of land here, and you know, as far as I can tell, they're just managing it into the ground. Uh, Yes. Does that, but on government land, does that mean that you are entitled to take the firewood out of it? Biodiversity? Ah, okay, I understand. And there, Andrew, there's not a lot of these places here. Like, there's a mountain beside us. Um, any wood that's on it is owned by the forestry. The rest of it's owned by the council. So you're not allowed on it, right? And it, well, you're allowed on it. You're allowed on it for recreational use, like walking, just walking. Actually, everything else is illegal. So no bikes, no quads, nothing like that. Good country living. How's it going? So it is just happy Friday indeed. Happy Friday indeed. It's just like you can go walking up there and you can drive around it, but that's it. You're not allowed to camp. You're not allowed to do anything else. And that would be where I do all my camp out videos, guys. Any camp out, or that's what goat camp is as well. So, oh, I know. Sure, listen, sure, I was in Montana. Sure, I went to Montana. Went to Montana when I was about 22. Like, just should have went when I was 32. Do you know what I mean? I just would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more, and instead of being drunk and hungover for 3 months. It was an eye opener. I couldn't get over it. I really just was like, wow, you know. Uh, and also I was in the Amazon, and it was the same. It's just like unbelievable. But we have nothing like what you guys have in the States. Very little. Ireland. I know I've spoken about this before. There's nothing in Ireland. There's very few deer. There's around here. There's very few deer. Few goats. Our closest goat herd. There's maybe about 50 of them at a push. 30 is more of a number. I was out. I was chatting with a teacher today, and I was talking about how there's no rabbits in the fields, like no rabbits at all. You look at, like, I'm sitting down at Red Branch and I look up at the fields across the river. And when I was young, when I was 12, 13, 14, and we used to fish down at Red Branch all the time, obviously before it was Red Branch, there was rabbits all over those fields. Do you know what I mean? And they have not been hunted. It's they have not been shot to death. They've not been wiped out. There is something else has killed them, or something else has driven them away. For me, I think it's over farming, or whatever it is they are putting on the land. Is just the rabbits just won't be there. It's very hard to find worms. Earthworms is just a bit weird. So what is going into the soil that is killing worms? Do you know what I mean? Like, worms are super important. Rabbits are super important as well. Uh, The Glendalough. Oh, Jesus, that's right. Yeah. You just come over. Glendalough is nice. Wicklow is lovely. There's nice woods in Wicklow. I would have spent quite a bit of time in Wicklow. It's really nice, but you will find that a lot of it you cannot touch as well. A lot of it. Wicklow is probably the only place in Ireland that has a lot of deer as well. A lot of deer, and maybe 3 or 4 different species of deer as well. Yeah, it is, Andrew. It's weird. Like, you go to the gardens to find worms, and there's no worms. Whereas when I was young, we used to just pour water on the garden, and then just when the worms come up, we just pick them up and put it in a jar and go fishing. Now there's nothing comes up. Very few. So something is in the soil. Peppy, how's it going, buddy? Something is in the soil, right? If it's in the soil, that means it's getting into the grass. That means that the rabbits won't eat. But the cows are eating that grass, and we are eating the cows. So I know that's the way it used to be, GCL. That's exactly the way it used to be. It used to be that you could just, everyone would be going around and just turn over a rock, grab a handful of worms, throw them in a jar, and away you go. Like, the last time I went to go fishing, I was looking for worms for hours, and I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And people are going, oh, we just buy worms. If you go fishing, you just buy them. Like, there has to be something wrong with the soil if worms aren't there. And worms are so important. Do you know what I mean? They're so important. They do so much for the soil. Like, they literally create the nutrients for the soil. I don't get it. I don't understand. Hi, Peppy. I shaved my head just for you tonight. I didn't. Sorry. No, I did. I did. But yes. So that's my rant about biodiversity. Hey, Bruno, what have you got? Bruno wants a stick. He's not allowed sticks in the house, and he knows that. Hey, Bruno, what you doing? Well, look at how proud he is of his stick. Show everybody your stick. Look at that tail. What's going on? Where are you? Don't go under there. Don't go under there. Don't go under there. Don't go under the table. Show everybody your stick. What's RHD? No, Pappy, no. What's RHD, Brian? Hey, Bruno. Hey, Bruno. Aww. It's not myxomatosis, is it? Bruno, don't get on my knee. Don't get on my knee. Don't get. What's that? Oh, don't hit me in the face with the stick. Bruno. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Oh, no, I dropped the camera. What are you doing? Sorry. Oh, Bruno. Where are you going now? No, stop. Up. Where are you going? What are you doing? Back down the stairs again. He's caused enough mayhem. He's going back downstairs. Go on, you big idiot. You big dilute. So, yeah. Yeah, like there has to be an issue there, doesn't there? There's obviously a connection. Like these little things are important. Like you know, it's just strange. Because I like my beard. I like my beard. No? Yes, no? So like there has to be, right? There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason. There's still plenty of fish in the rivers. Or is there? There's ducks in the rivers. There's kingfishers in there. This is just a red branch. So there's ducks. There's kingfishers. There is otters. If especially kingfishers and otters are in the river, it means that the river is working properly. It means that the water is clean, and it means that that there's enough fish in it to support them. Oh, RHD. I've never heard of that before in my life. Doesn't sound pleasant, but you can vaccinate against it. Sorry. Right, that sounds mental. That sounds absolutely mental. Pappy, we all need ice cream. Everybody should have ice cream at every single opportunity. That is just the way this works. Yeah. Like I can remember when we used to go shooting rabbits and stuff. You'd be out shooting and there'd be like 30, 40 rabbits. Easy. You know, now you go out and the last day we were out, we didn't see a single one. And as myself and my uncle used to go out all the time. We used to go out every Sunday morning. And basically, like I would say I haven't gone out in 3 years, right? And I'd be talking to him, and we actually have just stopped talking about it as well. That's it. I used to go, oh, we out on Sunday, you know, and you'd ask him if we get on. And he'd say, yeah, I went out. We'd say, we would say we go for a walk with the gun because there's nothing to shoot. There's nothing there. You know what I mean? You're walking for hours around fields and ditches and trying to find a bit of scrubland where there might be something hiding, which I think is part of the problem as well, is that there's no wild land left, right? Every inch of our countryside is manicured. Do you know what I mean? So it's all the fields are made. You can take 10 cord of wood for $75. Really? Jesus Christ. What sort of wood? Is there a rhyme or reason to it, or can you just take anything, or does it have to be fallen wood? You have a sleepover going on downstairs. I'm listening, sorry, just to make sure that we know. Dogs are about to go mental as well. Oh yeah, the usual crack. Oh, I get you. That's a good idea. Saves you sneaking about, doesn't it? I'm sure people go up there without permits anyway. Like, do they crack down on them for not having a permit, or can you just sort of wing it and get away with it? Guys, I'm going to. I think I might do a Red Branch live stream, not a live stream on Red Branch. I might go down and start lighting the fire and do my live streams down at Red Branch for the summer because it's so nice down there. Unless it's piss and rain. Piss and rain? Yeah. I know. Like, we are so limited here. We are so limited in what we have. You know, we are just, it's just ridiculous. You see, even that, you're not allowed to do that here. So if they go in and they harvest, right, generally the machine will use a lot of the wood that it's cutting, and it will put it down, and it will use that to drive across and make bridges and stuff like that. And there's always tons of wood. There's loads of stuff that they cut just to get it out of the way because it's too big or it's too small, right? You're talking hundreds and hundreds of logs. Some of them, you know, like this size. There's some of them up on the mountain that were 4 foot thick, right? They're too big. They can't lift them, but they cut them down to get them out of the way, you know, and you can't touch them. You're not allowed to go near them, which is a sin. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, take it all. Take it all, buddy. I would just take as much as you can. And it's like they cut all the trees here and they're all taken away. Do you know what I mean? Everything is a crop, right? It's not like it's sold and it goes for lumber or goes to the sawmill and it goes to lumber. This stuff is taken from here away up by a private company away up north, and it is turned into wood chips. Or sorry, it's turned into mulch, and then it is turned into pallets for pallet boilers, which is worse. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like they have discovered a way to take the fun out of wood. You know, it's like, yeah, we're going to let you burn this, but you're not going to burn it in a fire. You're going to burn it in a boiler. You're never going to see the flames or anything. Really? Neither do I. Well, I have a bit, Thomas. I have about half a cord, maybe. No, half a face cord, maybe. I know it's cat, isn't it? It's just like, oh, so much wood. So much wood. And like, they'll arrest you. Do you know what I mean? They'll arrest you. They'll arrest you for stealing firewood. Yet they are stealing firewood. That's all they're doing, right? I know it's not owned by me, it's owned by the forestry. But the forestry aren't from here. They're a government organization, right? They're growing their crop on our land, right? Technically, not technically, it's not our land. Do you know what I mean? But it's the land in the area where I live. So they're growing their crop on that land and they are harvesting that crop for money. And if we go and take any of that crop, we could be prosecuted, and it's, you know, and it's illegal. So it's like, what do you do? Don't get caught, I suppose, would be the first thing. Yeah, that's what I would be doing. That's what I'd be doing. Like, I remember going up the mountain one time, and there was a whole load of trees that had been planted, like an acre of trees maybe that had been planted. Now, they were cutting all the trees on the mountain. Most of the trees on the mountain had been planted in the 50s. So they were like 60, 70 years old. Nice, big European large trees. Talking some of them maybe 3 foot, 4 foot in the stump. Nice, big trees. Most about 3 foot, some bigger, some 5. And what they did was before they had gone in, maybe about 20 years ago or 15 years ago, they had planted another, this 1 acre, right? So all the trees in it were about this thick. They were about 8 inches thick, right? And they cut every one of them down and left them there because they were in their way, and they were clear felling the whole forest, and they just cut them down and left them there. Well, you see, that's good, Simon. You know, no, these guys, our guys take everything except the tops. Yeah. It's tough to see, isn't it? The devastation is unbelievable, especially if you know what the forest was like beforehand. So the forest that they did here local would have been my playground, basically. So we would have spent our whole lives up in that forest playing, because my auntie lives up at the top house on the mountain. So the house in the forest is actually called the forestry house because the forestry used to own it. So we used to spend all our lives, every weekend. My mother would go up, and they would go walking, and we would play in the forest while they went walking around the mountain and stuff. And it's just, you go up to it, and it literally looks like, it literally looks like they have carpet bombed the bloody place. Do you know what I mean? It's just so devastating. And they used one of those big processing machines. Yeah. They used one of those big tracked processing machines. You know, the ones with the grab that grab the tree, and the saw cuts it at the bottom and then slides up. And it is so destructive. Absolutely just destroyed. It drove across everything. There was no thought process went into preserving anything. All these stone walls, lovely stone walls that were built up on the mountain for hundreds of years by the people that used to live there, clearing the land, and so they made all these stone walls, made all these beautiful little paths and all, made them out of stone to go up the really steep ground and everything. This yoke just drove through them, just buried them, diverted streams, just, just was, it was hard to see. It was hard to see when the place has a different meaning to the locals, right? So an area like that. Well, I tell you what, here's an important part of it, is that when I was growing up, every mountain around here had a lookout post on it, had a British Army fortified garrison on top of every mountain. Okay, so I live in an area that is called the Ring of Cullion. So if I look out my window, I have a mountain a mile away here, I have one a mile away here, and I have one about a mile and a half away here, and it's all in a big circle, right? There's more mountains than that, but they're the closest ones. And every one of those mountains had a big lookout post on it, which would have had 10 soldiers in each, right? So this was when the war was on, or the troubles, whatever they call it. What they call it, the troubles, we would have called it the war. So that mountain, Slieve Gullion, the big one that had all the trees on it, that was the only one where you were not allowed, the British Army were not allowed to put one of those lookout towers on it, because it was a very important national area of outstanding natural beauty. It was a heritage thing. There was all these different folklore and everything wrapped around that mountain. So, So it was a special place because when you went there, there was no soldiers. There was no helicopters going to be landing and stuff like that. You had access to the mountain. Every other mountain you weren't really allowed on because the soldiers were there. You see, what you see, Simon. This is the wink, right? It's the infected. So when they came in, they cut all the trees, right? So people felt that their safe place had been invaded, it had been violated. Now remember, there's a very complex political thing that goes on in the north of Ireland that still goes on, right? So there was a lot of people weren't happy. The company that was coming in were funded. Like there was loads of issues went on here. There was loads of issues that went on here in regards to politicians. Politicians funded that company, right, and made them a big, massive company, right? Put all this money into building all this infrastructure to make these wood pallet factories, right? Then all of a sudden, Simon, all of a sudden, all the trees around us were infected with larch disease, right? And they were all cut down by that company that had been given millions of pounds by members by politicians in the north, right? Who just happened to sit on the board of directors of the same company, right? Marlon, how's it going? And what happened was all those trees were cut and were taken out of here and were taken to that company and got all turned into wood pallets for these pallet boilers. Now, the friends of those politicians who funded, through taxpayers' money, funded that company, they all got incentives and pretty much to install these wood pallet boilers, right, for heating different places. And what happened was that if you spent £1 on wood pallets, you got 150 in return. So basically what happened, it's called the cash for ash, or the ash for cash, right? So basically what was happening was these very rich business owners who were friends with the politicians started building big, huge sheds, right? They built these big, huge sheds and filled them full of these burners and had these burners burning night and day, because by burning the wood pallets, they were making money. Are you with me? They reckon it cost me and any of you other northern guys, it cost us 500 million in taxpayers' money. That's how much it cost. And it literally, we have a process here at the peace process called the Good Friday Agreement, right? So part of it is that you need to have the government needs to be formed from the Catholic side and the Protestant side, right? So the Catholic side pulled out of government because there was nobody was going to do anything about the fact that all this money had been wasted and had gone into other people's pockets. Yeah. And so they went, there's no accountability here. So they pulled out of government. And there has been no working government since then, guys. And I am going to say that could be, I don't know, but it's a long time. There's been sort of pitter-patter governments, but there's never been anything proper. Not that there was anything proper in the first place. And nobody has ever been held accountable, ever. People made millions of pounds out of it. Millions and millions, and fortunes were made, guys, and it just was an absolute disgrace. And all of what we would class as our wood, our trees, were taken for people to make millions of pounds. And that's why people were very pissed off about it. Absolutely. So I think that the people around here might have lost a bit of respect for anything to do with the forestry and stuff like that, because even though it wasn't the forestry, even this is the thing. So people just start helping themselves to stuff now, something. Yeah, we would have classed it as thievery. They stole our wood. Guys, case. That was a massive political rant there. That has not happened in a long time. But we basically are still out of government because of all that. Other things as well. Toys being thrown out of prams a lot. It's an awful load of shit what goes on here in Northern Ireland. So we are basically in a political state where it has to be a joint government. One party has to be Catholic and the other party has to be Protestant. They join together. When something happens that one party doesn't like, they walk away from government and the whole thing falls apart. It doesn't work. You imagine Democrats and Republicans had to always share office. Always. One of them was going to be in charge. Okay, depending on who got the most votes, one of them was going to be in charge. And they were jointly in power. So imagine you had Trump and Obama in power at the same time. Imagine how well that would work in the States. Now imagine Trump and Obama were deeply opposed to each other under political and sectarian reasons that went back 300 years. And up until 10 years previously had probably been shooting at each other and planting bombs in each other's houses. That's Northern Ireland politics right there. Yeah. This is it, Simon. This is the thing. It is boiling down to this, that the council cannot afford to fix roads. The council cannot afford to use their lawnmowers. No problem, Chippy. Thanks, buddy. You too. Benjamin, how's it going? Sorry, I missed loads of there. Simon, are you sure it's dandelion seeds, right? Is there any because in Red Branch for the last couple of days we have just had millions of them just blowing through the air. It just looks like all these little angels just flying through the air, right? But I was down there today and I figured out it is willow trees. It's the seeds from willow trees. Now I put a video up on Red Branch Bushcraft of it today. It looks like the whole forest is full of cobwebs because they're just all littering the floor. It's really, really cool. Andrew, you're right about the money and them being crooked. Daryl, how's it going? You're welcome, buddy. So like it was everywhere. They're getting in your mouth. They're getting in your eyes. Everything. It looked like smoke. And of course, it's mixed with all the pollen that's coming off my pine trees at the minute as well. So we were sitting out there today with the school group, and it was literally like just big clouds of pollen just blowing all over the place. It was really cool. These are minute. No way. Far too early for thistles yet. Have a look. See if there's a big willow tree just right on the edge of Red Branch, and that's the direction the wind was coming in. I mean, like it was non-stop. It really, I was going, there must be thousands of dandelions somewhere. Ah, okay. A chainsaw powered log splitter, eh? Yes, Thomas. Yeah. We basically look for the weak ones and then we attack them and eat them. Hay fever's a weakness. So is glasses. Yeah, but believe it or not, we don't really have an issue. I don't think the pollen from the trees is the same as grass pollen. It's not an issue. Like it is so bad that when I go out, my windscreen is yellow. Do you know what I mean? It's everywhere. It's like every surface is covered in this really fine yellow powder. Kids are going crazy outside. Can you see them? We had the mad thing happen here last night. Thanks, Skunky. Yeah, no mow, mate. I'm doing no mow, mate, at the front of the house here on one patch of garden only. I cannot do it at Red Branch. It is just bloody ridiculous. I have to cut the grass at Red Branch every 4 days, right? Otherwise, it's just too much. It's just too hard work, just growing so fast. It does seem like it's slowing down a little bit already, but that's probably just because we've had no rain. It could just be sitting waiting. You know, if it rains overnight, you go down the next day and there'll be 3-4 inches on it. It's crazy how much growth there can be. Oh, okay. And these all come from the pine trees, just the pine trees. Yes, yes, exactly, Tom. Now, I agree with it to a certain extent, but pretty much by May, a lot of the dandelions are dying anyway, so it should be April and May. But Jesus, imagine leaving your garden for 2 months, eh? Yeah. Yeah, Tom, I know. And like you think about it, I bet you, you know, 90% of the population, they need to service their mowers. Because nobody services their mower at the right time. You know, nobody does it in the winter. Everybody does it in the middle of summer because they're mowing and they're going, oh Jesus, I forgot to get this thing serviced. It's not running great. Hey Bruno, what is it now? What are you doing out there with those girls? What are you sniffing at me for? What are you sniffing at me for? Hey! He's a big galoot. Aren't you, Bruno? Here, come here. Oh, he left the stick upstairs. That's what it is. Yes, mine needs a service. Bruno, don't come up here. Don't come up here. He's gone in underneath the table so that he can push against the table and knock everything over. Go easy. What are you doing? What? Get that fly. Get that fly. We have a fly shield. It's a fly shield. It's like a fly mesh that you put over the door, but it's flexible so you can walk in and out through it. It's not a separate thing that opens. Not like you guys have in the States where you actually have like a bug screen door. It's not like that. Bruno, those elbows are so pointy. He's not my pointer. His elbows aren't pointy enough. And he's afraid of it. He's afraid of it. Now, he'd walk through it and all, but he freaked out earlier on because he heard it rattling against the door. And he thought somebody was breaking in. So he went out. He started barking in the sitting room and he went out, right? And he stood in the kitchen looking around the corner, barking at this thing in the door. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Guys, listen. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to go. I have a question before I go, right? I'm going to check and see what's coming up at the weekend. I am going to stop uploading felling videos, guys. I am going to stop uploading them. I have one more coming out actually at the weekend, and I think that is going to be my last one. They do not perform very well, and I always find it a little bit disappointing in that there's not a lot of people watch them, but what can you do? So, guys, that is going to be my last one for a little while. I think maybe that it's seasonal as well. Do you know what I mean? Really, Simon? Really? I have sowed 1,000,000 wildflowers, and I would say 10 have come up. I think it's the wrong season for them, guys. People aren't interested. People are not thinking about firewood that much at this time of year. They're not thinking about felling trees. They're not interested in watching that type of content. So I think I'm going to leave it for a little while. And they're not the most dramatic. It's not like I'm cutting down a big tree or anything like that. I'm only cutting down little small things. I think you guys are more interested in me digging holes. I'm digging out a tree stump at the minute, boys. Oh, Jesus. Nice. I have a lot of oaks. I've planted a lot of oaks, and I would say I have 100 oaks down there healed in that I haven't planted yet. And you're more than welcome, Thomas. So I think I'm going to give them a miss. I'm digging out a stump at the minute, and I'm making a video about it as well, guys. You know, removing stumps the old-fashioned way, I think I'm going to call it. My God, my back is just... There is some work in digging out a stump, boy. It is not an easy job. Guys, I will see you in the comments on Sunday, okay? Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.